Planning to have an uninterrupted electricity and water supply from solar energy in the Gambia and beyond? Worry no more, because Solar Enterprise will provide you with the solutions at reasonable cost. We have experienced personnel who can install and advise you about your electricity and water supply with a warranty period. We have good quality solar products from North America and Europe. We provide services and sell products to individuals, organizations, institutions, private offices, communities, and government. These products are solar panels, batteries, charge controllers, inverters, water pump, water heaters, freezers, submersible pumps, and general solar accessories. Visit our stores at 48 Kairaba Avenue and Brusubi Highway, or you can call us on 7657 479 980 8483 340 9400 or 635 9906.
Jamano Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamano, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamano Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Brusubi opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited, or email us at info@jamanomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051, or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamano Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamano Money Transfer.
I get it. Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyingi.
Okay. Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. I get it.
Bijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariya.
Mbare.
Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariya.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola sota Gambia jang.
Ha?
Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kodo kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo palindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi manin domorol dir fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ma fa kendol sotale je.
Wo mo yo diat.
Apelenta
ni wo ka ni lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abaraka.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, Takaful Fund, management of Zakat, management of Awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Welcome to the brunch. I'm Lamin Cham, and this is our weekly look at current affairs, events that took place in the last 7 days. And it's also the program where we feature panel or panelists on Gambian affairs. Today, I am privileged, yes, to be in the midst of a Gambian diplomat, a name very much known with synonymous with the struggle of the 22 years against the tyranny of President Yahya Jammeh, and a name that subsequently became well known as a diplomat in one of Gambia's top diplomatic missions. He is Suntou Touray, currently the Deputy High Commissioner of the Gambia station in London, United Kingdom. Mr. Touray, welcome to the brunch.
Thank you very much, my brother Lamin Cham, for having me. It's a pleasure to always connect with colleagues, or sometimes I use the word comrades, because you too were somebody who was active during those dark days of the Gambia.
Good.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. Welcome home. Good. Like I said, of course, the very first time you come here on the brunch, so I would definitely like to know where in the Gambia, and our viewers also know, do you come from? Because people must have been familiar with the name Suntou Touray even before now, but yes, tell us, where do you come from?
Thank you, Lamin. I would first and foremost say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
You all copied that from Yahya Jammeh.
I would thank God, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, because of course some of us did not envisage there will come a time where we will talk with renowned journalists like you in the source of the Gambia
Well,
to talk about our country.
Yeah.
Because in those days it was not feasible.
Yeah.
But to thank God is part of our routine as Gambians. And yes, I come from the URR, which is
village particularly?
in a village called Dasilame, which is our founding village.
Which
But
district?
in Suntou.
Oh, Suntou Touray.
In Suntou.
Okay.
However, my great-grandfather was a big farmer.
Okay.
So he left Dasilame to set up a farming village called Mbaikunda, which is close to a riverside.
Okay.
So he had the entire area to himself as a farmer. So, but he was leaving Dasilame, coming to farm. So over time, people came and settled close to him in Baikunda, and then he remained there. So of course, I am now from Baikunda,
And
but
this same
Dasilame is
district?
our reach. Yeah, it's the
Suntou
same in
district.
Suntou. Yeah, it's about 3 kilometers from each other.
Oh, I see. That's
Yes,
right. And then you went to school where?
I attended Dasilame Primary School. Then of course, I went to St. George's in Basse.
All right.
And then came and completed my high school here, and then from there I went to MDI.
You which high school?
I briefly Muslim, and then ended up in ICE for my sixth form.
Okay.
My finished the O levels,
Yeah.
and then went to MDI where I did the AAT.
Okay.
From there,
So you train as a professional accountant?
yes, so I did my AAT there, and then when I finished that, I went to the UK. Initially to do the ACCA, which I did, After that, then I completed my master's in banking, finance, and management at Gloucestershire University. Yes.
And you never come back.
No, I got trapped with it with the struggle, because then I think some of us thought it was going to be like a part-time thing. You know, you do something and then you come back and get back into the civil service or the private sector. But I think my destiny changed in 2004.
Okay. While you were in England.
When I was in England, I came for a holiday. I think it was 2 weeks holiday. In those days, I think there was a tourist flight.
Must be the same Gambia experience. They were
either Gambia experience, but they might be flying with another name.
Monarch.
Monarch.
Yeah, but it's the same, hired by Gambia experience, but the operators were Monarch.
That's right.
Yeah, I flew them.
So I saw a cheap ticket. I think it was £200,
Yeah.
and I bought it. You know, I said, well, I'm gonna go for a holiday. So I came. I think it was in December, and the following day I picked the Observer newspaper, and I saw that Deda Hydra was shot.
Yeah.
And I said, but how comes? Why? So I read the entire article, and for my that stay, I was buying newspapers every morning, reading about the different stories. And I said, but this is unacceptable. So when I went back, I decided to say, you know what? I don't think some of us, the way we see traveling, is better yourself, get money, build a house, buy a car, do this and that. I said it should be much more than that. So I started to scout who are those that are actively engaged in fighting against really what has happened. Because Deda Hydra died in my presence in the Gambia.
Yeah.
It was not like I was there, I heard the news. I was here.
Came during your holiday.
And so that, for me, that changed.
That changed your perspective.
So when I went back, I phoned my mom and I said, look, I'm going to join these people who are opposing the government. She said, no, don't do it because this man is this and that. I said, no. I said, those doing it, I'm not better than them.
Yeah.
I'm going to join them. And she refused. I'm not going to be with you in this. And I said, all I need is your prayers.
Yeah.
You don't have to accept what I'm doing. I'm your son. Just pray for me.
Yeah.
He said, okay, I'll pray for you, but know that I don't want you to do it. I said, fine.
Yeah. And that began your, active advocacy for democracy and restoration of democracy in the Gambia.
Yes.
You were, like I said, I remember reading everywhere your involvement in the struggle.
Yeah.
Take us a little bit back then. You know, there used to be demonstrations, the House of Commons, there used to be, every time there was Gambia's independence or something, you know, a group of people like you will come up with something. That was true.
Yes. I mean, I think the demonstration started a little bit earlier, before I became very active.
Yeah.
But before leaving Gambia, even when I was at MDI, I was exposed to soldiers who were trained to be accountants, to handle the finances of the military.
Yes.
And I don't want to name them, but some of them used to dress in full uniform and come to class.
Yes.
And of course, in those days, the NIA were everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they too, some of them were there too. So I started altercation with them now and then. I used to be very stubborn.
I know.
And they used to, I remember one guy, he liked me a lot. He's a bit senior soldier, and he used to pull me aside. Ndoke, go, fight me funkan. So, and he used to be very nice to me. Some of them ended up being in the UK, and we are friends up to now. So, but when I went to UK, I focused. I said, I came here to study. I'm going to focus on that. So there was a period, I think for about, from 2001 to 2004, I was marginal in terms of the politics. I was focused on finishing my studies.
Yeah.
Then from 2004 on, I started to scout all the way to 2005 when the NAD coalition e-building started.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I became very much affiliated with the UDP. You know, and then we were talking, phoning, you know, we wanted really the coalition to happen.
Yeah.
And of course, the diaspora base was also divided between political camps. You have the Doi camp, who were well organized but few.
Yeah.
And then you have those who are independent, non-affiliate to any party. They were there. Yeah. And then you have us, who were in the UDP. Then, and then we had people like Wasajane, who were in America, and other former parliamentarians. Yeah. Sekumbalo and others.
Yeah.
So for me, it was kind of looking out for who within the UK.
Within the UK.
That we could sort of use to sort of, engage with.
Exactly.
And it reached a point where I was more or less working with those who are allied to a political parties then, largely.
Yes.
And so that created a sort of comradeship with those who were not, they don't belong to any political party.
Yes.
So we moved on until when the NAD project collapsed.
Yes, and that is interesting times. NAD being the National Alliance for Restoration of Democracy.
That's right. Yes.
I mean, it was the first serious attempt to form a coalition in the Gambia.
Yes.
I remember it was being coordinated by the Honorable Halifa Sallah.
Halifa Sallah,
he was the coordinator.
He was the coordinator then, but there were Lamin Juara, late OJ Jallo, may their soul rest in peace.
Yeah, they were all in there.
Yeah, and many others, and of course a lot of independent Gambians too.
Yes.
Because I think sometimes people don't tend to underemphasize the involvement of individuals that are not aligned to any party. Yes, they too were playing their part in the media, the civil society.
Absolutely.
So it was kind of a synergy.
Yeah.
But when it collapsed, then we in the diaspora too, it became a fragmented reality.
You started blaming each other.
So it's kind of, all of us are answerable to our principals, who were the party leaders. So each is trying to now protect your party and your party leader. So
and blaming each other.
I think the collapse of NAD did create a big setback for opposition politics.
Because NAD had taken a momentum.
Yes.
That if it had continued, maybe Jammeh would have long gone. Before he actually did.
Absolutely.
So I remember there was a by-election.
Yeah.
What actually happened was that I think you remember. I mean, the people in the APRC, some people discovered that technically, legally, I mean, the people who registered NAD actually duplicated their role to belong to two political parties.
That's it.
So in that case, they lost their seats.
Yes.
When it was taken to court, and the Supreme Court interpreted, yes, they could not be members of two political parties.
And they lost their seat.
And there was a by-election.
And most of them won.
Yes, except Hamad Ba.
Because the Jammeh then invested a lot of money.
Hamad was, he was a very good opposition MP
in Parliament.
Yes. Very, very good.
Yes.
He was so effective that that Jammeh invested everything,
to make sure he
strong arm tactics.
Yes.
To make sure he was not elected.
Yes. Yeah. So you are right. You remember very well.
Yeah.
So I think this affected us too in the diaspora because we received secondary information. The information we are getting was, UDP is to blame.
Yeah.
Some were saying Doi is to blame. Some others were blaming OJ, may he so rest in peace. Others were blaming Lamin Juara, because Juara then, and my good old man then, Mr. Dabo, we were bitter rivals.
Yes.
So you remember Juara was within those early founders of the UDP.
He was propaganda secretary.
Yes, he was a prominent figure.
Absolutely.
And Juara, because he came from the militant communist training as a political scientist, was very upfront. Whilst Mr. Dabo is kind of mild, dogmatic, and combative, but their mode of operation was different. So, of course, the personality clashes meant that one has to give way, which means war.
I remember Mr. Juara.
You interviewed him on many occasions. In fact, whenever I used to read about him, it was you actually who used to go there.
And Serif Bojang.
Serif Bojang, yes.
Serif Bojang.
You and Serif Bojang.
We were his favorite. Serif particularly,
yes. So when Juara left the UDP, he left very unhappy and he was very angry. So obviously he turned the anger against the UDP. So when the NAD coalition formation was going on, he was making sure that the UDP was not going to have their way, the way they wanted, which was a party-led, rather than going through the primary system. And we, all of us too, at the time wanted, look, the big party, follow the big party, let's build around the big party. And Juara and others say, no, we have to go through.
We have to go to the primaries.
And
you see, Halifa and others were vindicated because it's this primary thing that came up in the convention against Jammeh, finally.
But fast forward, I think the personalities of political leadership surfaced there. Because I think President Barrow, then opposition candidate, was a bit more flexible.
Yeah, you mean if Dabo was, well, critics of the UDP and Dabo said if Dabo had not been in prison, he probably wouldn't have agreed to the arrangements, the coalition arrangement that brought about the fall of Jammeh. Because that's what happened on the NAD.
I would not say so.
Okay.
Because you have to understand, I was some of the most very close associates to Dabo at the time.
Yes.
We have a lot of respect for each other. Even though he's way older than me, but he used to give me a lot of time, a lot of listening ear, and strategically we used to discuss a lot. And I think the age limit barrier means he knows he could not contest the 2016.
Yes.
So therefore, I think it was going to be a fallacy if people said he was not going to accept.
Yeah.
In fact, I think he was looking at those options.
Okay.
From the discussion I personally had with him. Because leaders discuss one thing with you and discuss another thing with another person.
Yes,
but I'm here talking about what I can recollect.
Okay.
He was even looking at a female candidate.
Yes, it's been said that he wanted Suntou Touray.
He did not give me any name.
He suggested.
He did, but no, he did not actually suggest Suntou Touray's name to me.
He didn't
personally.
suggest the name. But
no, he was saying we need to look at a female candidate so that at least maybe that would be acceptable to the others. Or we could even look outside the party. He was discussing some of those options at the time. I'm not sure whether he can recollect, but I did have those sort of discussions with him at the time. But then, because he came to the UK, myself and another guy called Mafuji Jammeh, he's from Nyomi, we facilitated his travel to the UK in 2015 to visit some of the top UK MPs to discuss with them at the House of Commons. I think that was one of his major interactions within UK. So we organized that. We did it in such a secret, top fashion manner that it was when he arrived that some people actually know he was in the UK.
In the country,
I think only a few executive members even knew that he was traveling. And then at that trip he met the Secretary General of the Socialist International. So there were a lot of good gestures towards him at that time. The only obstacle for him then was the age limit.
Yes.
But we did have promises to support him, in different ways from some well-wishers, and that would have changed the balance hadn't been the age limit wasn't there at the time. However, coming to the diaspora, the collapse of NAD really created a big rift among us, and it took us time.
If we could come together.
If we could come together. I think it took all the way to 2008. When Amnesty International organized the first Gambia Day of Action. 2008, I remember one elder brother of mine, not family, but as a Bolonkono person, I call people older than me elders.
Yes.
And he called me, he said, Mr. Touray, he said, we're going to organize a protest at the High Commission. I said, okay, that would be interesting. He said, but Amnesty International will provide us the T-shirts, the banners, and this thing, and it's not going to happen just in London, but in US and other places. So that was one of our most robust demonstration we had in London.
I see. So fast forward, 2026, the tyrant was defeated at the polls.
2016.
2016. You were still in London.
Yes.
You with all those impasse, you were not here.
No, I was not here.
Okay.
Yes.
How did you react when you first learned that, well, Jammeh lost the election and had himself on radio saying he had accepted to go?
Now, I think I will go back a bit
to
2011.
All right.
And I think 2011 election was such a decisive defeat to the UDP and the opposition. Because Jammeh, if I can recall accurately, he won across every constituency.
Yes.
Even Cham West.
Even Cham West, yes.
Where we were thinking at the time we will never lose in Cham West.
Yes.
We lost in Bakau, used to be our stronghold. Yes. We lost in Cham West, Baribu Central. We lost in Jara East. Areas that hands down we used to win.
Yes.
We lost everywhere.
What happened at the time?
Now, I think we underestimated Jammeh and his politicians' promises that he was doing at the time. We took for granted that, okay, he's jailing people, he's killing. That was enough for people to turn their backs on him.
But was it not the fragmentation too? Because
fragmentation, another fragmentation too.
Also laid
but the margin, he got 74%. Yes. Whether we fragmented whichever way, but we all of us should have pulled such a margin that at least if he's going to win 53, 55, exactly. You understand? But Jammeh won 74%. So that was huge. So that blow to us as opposition was so shocked that a lot of people said they were going to leave politics, even within our diaspora camps, because they are saying that it's a hopeless situation, and that's it, you know. And then we staged a protest again at the Gambia, the home of the UK Foreign Office, at their number 10 Downing Street, the High Commission, Senegalese Embassy, Nigerian Embassy, where, name it, we went there.
I remember.
In fact, there was some fights with some of the NIA agents who were coming to take pictures of us, and then we discovered some of them, and people were punching and fighting. But I signed the protest letter. So it was my job then to make sure there was no fight. Because the police were coming to me to say, Mr. Touray, you signed this and your people are fighting, you know. We have one Nyominka brother, a guy called Ian Banuramas.
Oh,
I think he wouldn't mind me mentioning him.
I had the name Banuramas.
So Banuramas, I know he was a very temperamental person, along with the current chairman of Brikama Area Council, Yangs Dabo.
Yes.
So Yangs is a very close friend of Banuramas. He came with Banu to the protest, and I saw Banu with his hair, he combed his hair, high afros, and I said, this guy looks like a troublemaker. So I went to him, I said, Mr. Banuramas, I said, look, I signed the...
Yes, you have to respect the condition of the permit.
You know, in Gambia here, sometimes people think protest, people just turn up and do protest. No, even in Europe, you have to have a permit, and somebody has to be responsible. Somebody has to coordinate. Somebody has to negotiate with the police. So that was my job then. And before I realized, Banuramas gave a very thumping punch to one of the NIA
suspected NIA agents,
and the boy collapsed.
Oh.
So, and now we were all panicking because the police lady who was in charge came to me and said, well, Mr. Touray, you and that young man will have to come with me. Luckily, the boy got up. So he just started running. So that was the end of the story. However, after 2011 election, we regrouped. Then I think our UDP diaspora had Mr. Alkali Conte as the chairman for the US. And then we selected Kanjura Kanyi as the chairman for UK, assisted by Siaka Jata. So I became the coordinator. But I think by 2009, Mr. Dabo himself, towards 2010, came to UK. And people told him what I was doing. And he felt he has to meet me. And I met him at his daughter, one of his daughter's house. We chatted, so he was really happy, and there we built a very strong, trusted bond. We were calling before then, and then by 2010, 11, things, big lost. 2012, you remember, Jammeh executed 9 inmates, and so that injected the fire. And I think the killing of those 9 inmates and the subsequent trying to justify it, using all kinds of technique, really emboldened the diaspora. More people that were previously not involved in politics started coming.
They come to realize that, look, we have a common problem.
We have a common problem. Then the Ahmad Skater Jani, I think, played a big part during the leak in the prison, and others. So that gave us the impetus to start working again. And so the diaspora, then the UDP executive themselves, with the help of then Ibu Mane. Ibu Mane is still around. May he live longer. So Ibu Mane told Mr. Dabo and others that, look, we have to appoint Suntou as our liaison officer to the Socialist International, because what he is doing is beyond just representing the party. He's going another way. So I became among the few that were written to say, look, we've nominated you to be the liaison officer to the Socialist International, which the UDP is part of. So we started pushing all the way to 2014 when I facilitated Mr. Dabo to attend the Socialist International Congress in Bamako, where he met the then Malian president IBK and many other leaders from Spain, a lot of things. So that gave him a new energy because I was with him for that 3 to 4 days. And the interaction, because people underestimate conferences and events. I know sometimes you, the media, tend to lambast it. But you see there, a civil servant or a politician will get new ideas directly. So Mr. Dabo then got a new, because he saw people who were jailed for 15 years in Belarus. You saw people who were beaten to comas from particular Russian regions.
And they were still...
They're still coming. They're still active. You saw people, you know, jailed in Congo, in this, and they're still active. So you were interacting with them. And they're telling you their story. So you are saying, actually, what I went through is...
It's quite not comparable.
So that gave him a new energy. And then he told me, he said, Suntou, you know, now I'm going to rethink. So you have to remember, it was when he came back for that. 3 days later, Fast and Jaga Choi happened. So they were meant to go for that tour. And Jammeh said they shouldn't go. And the permit was cancelled.
And that one others stayed there.
That's right. So when they reached, the then police commissioner in the North Bank was instructed to block the convoy. And then they said, we had our solo sandings and others, and then even President Barrow then played a key role in the strategization and the fundraising, connecting with us, the diaspora. So we were sending money and then pushing and adding fuel to fire. You know, but and at first in Jaga Choi, so that also brought more activists. I'm still about the diaspora.
I know.
Because more people who were not in UDP then were calling me to say this gesture by Mr. Dabo to say I'm not turning back. My convoy will either stay here or we move. So that brought a lot of people.
And in the end, Jammeh capitulated.
Absolutely no, because the resistance metamorphosed into a unified effort. It became beyond the UDP. So I remember I was doing fundraising on Panderimbai's radio, may so rest in peace. Somebody called me from Dakar. I've never known him. And he said, I said to Panderi, tell Suntou, I will call him after the program and I will give, is it 2 million sefa?
Wow.
Towards the Fast in Jaga Choi thing. And I was elated and more people were calling. So we had identified somebody for him to donate to in Dakar and then brought to Fast in Jaga Choi. So we bought loudspeakers.
I saw cooking pots and
everything. So we were ready. And more people were willing to come and join the encampment. So the diaspora kind of needed reasons to be a bit more alive and active against the dictators. But the vast majority are Gambians who are from not well-to-do families, who just went to try to make ends meet, to look after their families. So obviously for me, I don't blame anybody for not getting involved at the time, because you have to be more focused to be able to get involved. Because dictators they have many faces.
Absolutely.
So the face they show to you and the face they show to somebody else
are different.
Yes,
that's true. So, well, you are not used to, in diaspora, to going asunder and then coming back to face the common enemy.
Yes.
Unfortunately, after the success in the polls, you know,
2016,
a little later, 2 years down the line, there was a split again.
Yes.
For some of you who actually fought so gallantly, especially on the platform of the UDP, you had to go the bitter experience of a split up from among yourselves. And that led to a lot of confusion from among yourselves who fought together for many years, like it happened in many places in South Sudan. The liberators themselves became, you know, big bitter enemies. How did you live that experience? Like we find it today. You spoke very well of what you did with Mr. Dabo. Today, Mr. Dabo, and you mentioned the role of Adama Barrow at the time, especially. Now, unfortunately, those two sides are on opposite sides. For somebody who worked within that environment, how do you react to that? How do you live through that?
I think Bob Marley once says, to Zimbabwe, when he held his first concert in Zimbabwe, he said, Africa shall liberate Zimbabwe. But now is the time to know who is the real revolutionary.
Well, he actually sang it before the independence.
But that's where it became popularized.
Yes.
I think revolutionaries or people who took part in changing an oppressive system themselves goes through changes within themselves. Because you see, sustained fight is not easy. This is why a lot of people don't get involved.
Yeah.
Because you see, you are dealing with emotions. Politics is about human emotion. What you see is right, somebody sees as wrong. What you see is wrong, somebody sees as the best. So you are here dealing with human sentiments, human emotions. And political leaders, they have the biggest ego.
Yes, that's true.
Because you cannot be a leader if you don't have an ego. But Abdul Qadir Jilani, one person asked him, he said, how do I reach God? He said, you have to grab your ego, put it on the floor and stamp on it. Then you will reach God. So it's not easy to have change. So when 2014 happened, April 14th, some of us were very close to Solo Sanding and others. So before he went to the protest, people like us were not. I have declared that many places I was not in favor of the protest. Because I was really very close to Solo Sanding. Nearly every night he will call me. And he will chat until his wife will say, I think it's enough now.
No.
You know, do you want Solo? I sign. And so I was really close to him. So when this whole protest was organized, I became aware of it. My job was then, how can I really stop him? So I was doing that, but at some point he was unreachable. We called him, we couldn't get him. So that was a young man called Muhammad Fati, who was also very close to him. So I remember on the morning of April 14, I called Mohammed. I said, please take the phone to Solo. I don't want to call him. So he went. And Mohammed Fati gave the phone to Solo, and I speak to him. But then he was busy. You know, that was the D-Day and the coordination.
Yes.
So the phone was with him. He said, Suntou, we are just marching out. I said, Solo, Yamral thinking cancel Allah bye. He said to me, no, da bye no. And of course, I am not a Marabu or know the future or anything. I'm just an ordinary person. But I think one word he said still stick to me to now, to date. He said to me, Suntou, it is as if I have a huge load on my head. If we don't do this protest, I think I will die. And I said, so what sort of load is on your head? He said,
he was determined.
I mean, and when he said that, I became very cold. You know, I remember I was sitting on my sofa, I stood up, and I said, this is a message that is just gave me now. And then he gave the phone back to Mohamed Fati. I told Mohamed Fati, give the phone to Fatma Jawara. He gave the phone. I said, Fatma Rakonnam, please, you know, if the men are refusing not to stop,
So
you, the females,
to try to stop it.
Talk to each other and get out of there. Fatma said, we heard you. I said,
But
no.
you knew they were not listening.
Yeah, I said, look, I studied dictatorship from Russia to Libya to everywhere. I used to spend my free time, especially when I was doing my master's degree, reading. I said, these people, they will go at any length.
Absolutely.
And I was so fearful of what it entails. And Farmer Jawara said, so Farmer understood what I said. But unfortunately, they were nearly Westfield. So they were literally surrounded in a way that I thought they wanted to pick out some of those people. If others will escape, but this one.
The ringleaders.
The ringleaders. So, and then the push and pull started happening. So they boxed Solo in such a way that he was picked. So the rest wanted to get him out. And when the Helter Skelter and then Farmer Jawara and others wanted to hide, then they fished them out. So from that I think April 14, then April 16, when Mr. Dabo and Co were taken, I think this is where, personally, I dropped the heart of party. I think a lot of people didn't understand that. Because, yes, everything I was doing up to then was UDP. But when the Solo and Co were arrested and Mr. Dabo and Co were arrested, then I realized this will take beyond party to salvage the situation.
Yeah.
So, and I pondered over it, and I dropped party. Yes, I used to speak on a platform called UDP, Youth Action Group.
Yeah.
But I mentioned UDP very rarely, because in that situation you need everybody together.
I see.
And it's not easy. If you stand on your platform, others will point that, look, we are not in the same platform with you. So I decided to be talking generally in a unified way, and to make sure we reconcile, to make sure we take care of our common problem here. And I think a lot of people, not even within the UDP, came to appreciate that stance I took. And when President Barrow emerged as the leader, we were not very familiar with each other then, but then slowly we started to become close with the others. And then I saw in him somebody who is reconciliatory. He is not very hard with his bargaining.
Yes.
So, and I think that made it easier for him to emerge as the coalition leader. But addressing the point where you said whether Mr. Dabo suggested Dr. Suntou Touray, that time he did.
He suggested that.
Not before in prison, but when he was in prison, he did. Okay, because I was called by very close to him to say, look, Mr. Dabo's proposal is to have Dr. Suntou Touray, and some of us at the time said, look, yes, he's the party leader and the rest, but I think the executive outside, his instruction was, if the top layer are in prison, the second layer took charge. Ako nyadile, ako nintele nyato nkolu tata, komala nkolu, atel si, ata. Komala nkolu, what does that entail?
Yeah, the people who
the second layer.
Yes, second layer.
And I believe in each political party, once you have the top executive, the second executive should know what the top executive is doing.
Yeah.
So, but I think when that instruction comes, so we did not trust the validity of the message, a lot of people, and that created, this is where the division started.
I see.
It did not start like when the government was set up, it started before. So the camps became divided, those who wanted to go with the Dr. Touray, and those who wanted to go with what the executive outside decided.
Okay.
And some of us happened to be with the camp who agreed with the executive outside.
That is
the
the second layers would come.
Yes, the Dembo by Force, the SO6 and others.
Yeah. And I actually was at I actually was at the political bureau in Banjul, where the eventual candidates flag bearer was unveiled. Adama Barrow was unveiled on that in that September.
Yes.
I guess to 2016.
Yeah.
Yes, there was an Abdul
Dabo and Burjaju
and Bu.
Burjaju.
Yes. So it was Ajayam Seka and Dembo Bifos were at the high table.
Yeah.
And actually, when those Adama and others arrived, even before we reached Banjul, Mustafa Dabo, I always had an investigative mind.
Yes.
The reporter, he told me, the news is leaking that is one Adama Barrow who might be, might be the candidate. I said, Adama Barrow, yes.
Yeah.
I say, wow, Adama Barrow, I can't remember it. Oh, then the election time, 2017, I think, 2007 or so. His name was in the ballot.
He started as an independent.
Exactly. I think the UDP were independent, but his name was in the ballot for Jimara.
Yeah, independent, I think so.
I remember the name. I said, but
no, because what happened when we lose president, we always boycott the parliamentary. So some of our candidates will stand as independent. So he stood. I stand to be corrected.
I think
he stood as an independent.
Okay.
Because he was then backed by Bubu Drame, who was the UDP regional chairman.
Exactly.
But actually, these are our guys.
So I remember such name, but I thought his name was so much in the background. It would have been people like Dembo Bifos and others who might come and
come up.
So, but he was unveiled. I think 22 votes. Dembo opened the envelope. 22 votes to whatever the others got, and then he gave a speech there. That day.
That's right. Yes.
Okay, if you are trying to tell me that even before that stage there was a little bit of
friction,
division
yes.
as to
Yes.
whether the suggestion that came from Dabo from prison is what should go, or his own proclamation that it should be the second layer that should go. And you went along with that second layer.
Yes. Yes, because I mean, a political party, yes. The Secretary General and the leaders are the face.
Yes.
But I personally believe it should not be a one-man
show
or one woman or one individual entity.
Okay.
If we want to go beyond parties dying with the party leaders, like APRC, when Jame went, the party combust. Sir Dauda, when he went, PPP combust. SM Diba, when he went, NCP, GPP, so PS Njai. So these parties naturally dies with the
departure of the leaders.
With the departure of the leaders. So if we want to change that culture, then we have to change how we do politics, how the party leaders interact with their executives, how they delegate responsibilities, and how they run the party.
How they must be prepared to give way.
So, and this is a problem not just in Gambia, but across Africa. We've seen recently in Senegal, Macky Sall. His party is nearly dead. If you go to different countries, it's the same story. So the story, so personally, some of us exposed to the Western ways of doing things, I believe that I'm not saying what he suggested is wrong, but I'm saying the executive outside should decide what is the best formula and what's the best interest.
And it turned out that the executive decision worked.
Yes, it did work. But then that is a credit to Adam Barrow, President Barrow, because at that time, if he was rigid, it was going to be difficult. But even Dr. Touray, I stand to be corrected, but I heard that he reached out to her camp. You know, she had
an independent camp.
And Ami Bojan, they were campaigning, but he reached out. And he reached out to all the other, even Mama Kande. I stand to be corrected.
Yes.
But I was aware of a lot. This is a long time ago.
He reached out to all.
I was involved in a lot.
He reached out to all of them.
He reached out to them. So this is where because at that time I don't know President Barrow very well.
Okay.
We only speak on the phone when we raise funds to send. So, but physically, I've never even seen his picture. A lot of people don't even know that.
I know it happened to many people.
Yes. So, but for me, I normally trust people when I have a conversation. So I believe that, look, this guy, this particular individual, will be somebody who will be easy to negotiate. And at that time, even myself, I transformed myself. The audios I was recording was more reaching out, going beyond just the UDP base. I was going outside because I knew our base alone cannot.
So you mean Barrow tried very well to accommodate everybody?
Everybody.
You mean that worked?
That worked. That was his secret.
Okay.
You understand? Even my Fati wasn't here, although they were in Muslim together. But he did his best to accommodate him. Mai is a big personality.
I know.
Ahmad Ba is a huge personality.
Ahmad Ba could have more ego because
all the political leaders.
In the field before.
Yes. You know, even Doi, he was Barrow was accommodating any condition that was tabled. He said, "Let's accept."
Let's accept it.
And some of us were saying, "If you accept all of this, what's going on?" And then he was saying, "No, let's accept."
It was even said that groups like Aissatou, Independent, and even Hamad Ba almost nearly, leave the negotiation.
Yes, but he was using his individual strategy. That's why sometimes I see people on Kerfatu platform and others belittling him. I think they need to think again. Because you see, in Gambia, we tend to have that mindset that if somebody don't go to particular universities or this education, they are not well endowed with no wisdom is beyond classrooms. If I come to Gambia, I normally travel to these villages, interact. You'll find some old man minding his business. The amount of wisdom he has,
is
most of us don't have it.
But then Suntou, yes, and all this happened, and like I said, for the ordinary UDP supporter, these two personalities clashed, and the party split, leadership split into two, and today they are the bitterest enemies. Far more intense their rivalry than even people outside their group before. So what went wrong?
For me, my analysis will be, I think it's all about the expectation. Because the expectations for many within, I think, the UDP, is that Mr. Dabo's presidency is the icing on the cake for them. What we wish and what God does is different sometimes. Even myself, even President Barrow himself, I think worked hard, and I think he said that in many platforms that he did everything possible for Mr. Dabo to be a president, all of us. But then when the change happens, personally, I felt I need a break to continue again fighting. I don't think it was good for my mental health, because we've taken a lot during that long period. There are times that you can't come to Gambia for 8-9 years in a row, your own country. There are a lot of things that happen within those times. So, and I believe really we needed to give chance to change, to be part of something that we all contribute our quota. But the clash, it's simple. It's a case of, okay, I have to be a president. And nothing, and I keep telling that to people. Mr. Dabo is not a bad person or an evil person, like some people want to project.
You want to say that the issue is he insists on becoming president, that's what caused the problem?
No, I mean, this is what he staked his life for.
Yeah, but
it's as simple as that. And I think people try to make it complicated. It's not complicated. It's straightforward.
So you mean he will not settle for anything but him becoming presidency? You think that is why this problem happened?
Well, I mean, that is obvious.
Okay, let's go back a little bit.
Yes.
In 2017,
yeah,
when everybody had hoped that Mr. Barrow will go for only 3 years,
yes,
it was Mr. Dabo who came out.
Yeah.
First,
yes.
There could have been others who thought like that, but he was the one who came out and said, no, Barrow should do a full 5-year term, yes, and not 3 years.
Yeah.
So Mr. Dabo's admirer said, if he had been that greedy, as many people said,
yeah,
hell-bent on becoming president, he probably would have been the first person who would have put pressure on Barrow to quit, knowing that if there are elections at that point, he probably had a better chance of winning. But at that point, he insisted that Barrow should go for 5 instead of 3. So they said if he had been greedy for power, he probably would have been the first to put pressure on Barrow. What do you say about that?
I'm not saying he's greedy for power.
Well,
what I'm saying,
bent on getting
no.
Like
what I'm trying to say,
yeah,
the presidency is the ultimate reward, or is the ultimate.
So, but how do you see that action? Because many people blame that action now for the eventual dissolution of the coalition.
No. You know, politics is about strategy and tactics, and sometimes a strategy you throw in a dice.
Was that magnanimous on Mr. Dabo's side or towards Barrow?
I'm not going to comment much on that. But
what do you see that with Barrow? His consideration for Barrow.
I understand that the issue about the 5-year thing.
Yeah.
I think this was being discussed by maybe many of your guests. Some of us have to remain quiet about lots of issues for obvious reasons. But I think it was a strategy to sort of have the president serve 5 years, and that's it, and to him to carry on. And at the time, of course, you have to understand it was a coalition. Within the first 3 years, it was a coalition. So Mr. Dabo is one of the most strategic politicians. He is a lawyer, over 44 years. So he is well read. I think people sometimes underestimate that. Wherever personally I interact with him, I will find 3 to 4, 5 books with him. And whenever he's relaxing, he's reading. So don't mind the kind of simpler way he deals with the crowd, and he's a tactician. And for me, I respect his politics is his life. He's married to politics. So for him to decide certain strategy and tactics will mean what will be the outcome. So he already knew what the outcome would be. I'm not going to dilate on it now. Maybe in the future I may, but I think it was a strategy, to control the situation, because this is a situation that he was not part of when the government election and everything. So others were there. OJ was there. OJ is a big personality. Honorable Ali Fasala is a big personality. Ahmad Ba, Henry Gomez, Mai Fati, and other independent actors. So you came in now. So you have to take over the situation. Not many people will have that leadership strategy to take over a situation against bullets from others.
I think it was a simple case that he had more influence on Barrow than the rest because of the fact that he was his party leader. He respected him more. But my point is
that's what you think.
No, he respected.
Yeah,
I mean, people were saying that was actually de facto leader at the time.
Yes, but I think that also was an underestimation of President Barrow, because you see, be always careful.
But Barrow himself admitted that some of the appointments that Barrow came back to oppose, he said those appointments were made through his own influence.
That's right.
So it was true that de facto he was actually running the show at some point. Well, that's what the opponents of UDP.
No. You see, I think President Barrow in those 2017, 18, 19 respected Mr. Dabo a lot. Respected
more than anybody.
His UDP founding and his UDP belonging, like all of us. But I assume that as a president, you are the most informed person. And I think I heard President Barrow saying that, and people were laughing. He said, I'm the most informed person in this country.
That is so. That can be
why, whatever you, Lamin Cham, you're doing,
yeah.
If he wants to know, he will know.
Oh, it's simple. He knows everything about Suntou Touray.
You understand? Whatever I am doing,
yeah.
Whatever everybody else is doing,
true, yeah.
only the head of state has that capacity.
Yeah.
So if he choose to gracefully give you space to maneuver, never think that he's not in control.
It's a long rope that you eventually strangle it.
Strangle yourself. And I think in Gambia, because
but
of,
don't you think this
because of I'm not blaming the media here, but I'm thinking sometimes people are very simplistic in political analysis, and they tend to think, okay, when they see President Barrow very simple, very down to earth, going about his business, they think he's not aware of anything. They think, it's just a pushover. You can just come and push him over there. No, the guy is one of the smartest politicians I've dealt with. I'm not saying smarter than Mr. Dabo, but differently. Strategically, Mr. Dabo is very, very brave with his decisions. He's very, decisive. But President Barrow can take his time to make a decision. But once he makes his decision, nothing changes it. You understand? So they're kind of a different personalities here. But I think he gave a lot of space, a lot of respect and courtesy. But he wanted to remain in charge. So I think sometimes, yes, but I think this is where the push and pull come. Both camps that you asked earlier, and I believe that, there are some who were with the president today. Literally, most were pushed out. You understand? Yes.
Out of where?
Well, the president was in the UDP. We were there. So it was kind of,
no.
I don't think we agree with the way you guys are thinking now. You have to give space. But a lot of people interpret it the other way. But we were there. We experienced.
What do you make of this other interpretation? Since you are very much an insider, people believe that, okay, like you said, the indications of possible division appeared even before
absolutely
Barrow assumed power.
Yeah.
But then later on, like you said, Mr. Dabo came all out to say that Barrow should go for 5 years and not 2, 3 years. Not 3. Many people blame that was a betrayal of the coalition partners. The UDP want to monopolize. You mentioned OJ. OJ was very much
for the
in
3
support
years.
of the 3 years.
Yes.
Good. Now, is it not the case that President Barrow's personal ambition to go not just for a full 5 years, but even more, as it turned out, he wanted more. Even now, he probably wanted more. So is it not a case of his personal ambition to be president?
Well,
for much more than he himself agreed. That's probably what led to the problem, and not necessarily Mr. Dabo. Actually, Mr. Dabo was
No. I'm not saying. Primarily, it's just about the 5 years thing, but look, every person who set up a party wants to be a president.
Yeah, but then
regardless of
what,
for 3 years, regardless of whatever
but if
the party
you say you
is,
go for 3 years, what stop you from not stopping there?
No, the issue at hand here is that once the situations changes, people change.
No.
No, I mean, we're talking here realistically. We're not talking
So the
here.
situation changed. The 3 years was there, but when the situation changed, he changed.
Of course. Situation changes and people change. The realities change and you change.
No.
You understand?
When once people say something, they don't change it. No matter what happens.
No. In politics.
Okay, let me tell you now. If it was Halifa Sallah who eventually won the seat, you know, but you followed both. All the politicians.
I don't want to go into what Halifa would have done.
I
don't want to go into what.
I'm trying to say, you know the key players then.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it was Doy's candidate
Yeah.
who actually became the independent candidate who won the convention, and everybody agreed 3 years, do you think even if Sidia Jata had told, Halifa, you would go for 5, not 3, what would have been his?
No, dogmatically, maybe Halifa would not.
Not
You
maybe.
understand?
Not maybe.
No,
He has proven
Lamin.
so many times that he stick to his words.
Okay,
he would never have gone beyond 3 years.
I understand.
All right,
I
that's it.
understand. I know
So-
both political leaders. In fact,
You agree?
Sidia is a relative of mine.
But you
of
agree
course,
they will not go beyond 3?
I'm not agreeing.
No,
100%.
nothing will change. They have proven that.
You cannot say so, because in politics, one circumstances can lead to another.
They have said.
Probability, there is a high probability that yes, they might stick to it, but something could have happened which created this situation for them not to give themselves more time.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
That could have happened. But yes, the probability for him to say yes, fine, yes, they are a different philosophically.
Right.
They are different to politics than some of us in the other parties. And that's a reality that we accept, yes.
Maybe, to put it another way, they are more honest.
It's not about honesty.
Anyway.
It's not about honesty.
Okay. Okay, now, yes, well, I think now we turn over to your job.
Yes.
You are now the Deputy High Commissioner.
Yeah.
Or at the Gambia.
High Commissioner,
One of the
yeah.
most important and actually the oldest foreign mission for the Gambia.
Yeah.
Quite a strategic place for the Gambia.
Yes.
Can you put me? You succeeded Bamba Mas, is it?
No.
No, you were first chancellor, was it?
Yes, I was councillor first.
You were
then.
councillor.
Yes.
Whom do you succeed? Who was deputy first?
Aliun Jai.
Aliun
For
Jai.
the current Secretary General.
Current Secretary
Yeah,
General.
and the
Very good,
Secretary
very
of Cabinet, yes.
So, for such a position, Deputy High Commissioner, is quite a huge responsibility. In fact, most people said, and I must commend you for that, that you are the face of the, not belittling the High Commissioners, but you are the public face of the High Commission, involved socially with all sort of people, whether they are people you don't share political doctrine with, or so that I must commend you for. But what are the issues that you every day you are confronted with when it comes to this Gambian community?
And I think first and foremost, I have to sort of say that I was privileged to be among most of the activists, very committed comrades that worked very hard from America, US, UK, everywhere, to make the change happen, which I have been their mouthpiece to say, I think our government need to recognize their efforts. I'm not sure, I don't think it's too late, because what happened in the Gambia was unprecedented. You don't deal with a dictator, change him peacefully, without the sacrifices of a lot of people. And of course, politics being a beast to what it is, deviated and distracted a lot of people. But I've always believed that especially those in the diaspora, they should be recognized, whatever token of recognition, even if it is a paper certificate, for what they've done. Not everybody, but the prominent key people.
Okay.
Why? Because the West, we tend to compare ourselves to them, but one thing they are good at is recognizing the contributions of others, not monetarily or even in a position, but in a gesture that inspire others. So, and I believe in,
for example, knighthood and medals
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because that even if the person is grievance in the future, because sometimes in the U.S. Army they award people from war and they come and they say, I for the wrong one, they throw away their medals.
Yeah, that's right.
But at least the gesture should be there.
The state.
And I think one thing I'm not happy with is a lot of prominent elites in the Gambia here see the diaspora as their opponents. They see the diaspora as kind of their competitors, and they have a lot of
But then
phobia.
you have to have an advice for the current government on that
And I am
respect,
doing.
because
I'm
many
doing
people
that. I
think-
think I'm doing that,
Yeah.
and I think I will continue to do that because we have to advocate for each other. The
the
diaspora.
diaspora is complaining, Barrow telling them they are is it Bafenyolo or is
No, not all that. Not
But
all
they said
no.
Barrow said, I mean, they said it.
No, not.
Maybe you should start with advising Barrow and the government.
No, he understands that. He was in the diaspora.
He once
And
said
I think
they are the 8th region of the country. But
they are.
the relation is very bad between them now.
I think the diaspora,
Yeah.
of course, there are some there that are, who are hardened critics of government. Of course, and that is their right. But I'm talking about. I'm talking about I'm talking about those who participated in that difficult time. Because, Brother Lamin, there are a lot of those people who gave it all.
Absolutely.
They were not earning much.
Yeah.
But the little they were earning, they were not buying lands in the Gambia. They were not building houses. They were putting everything contributing. And this, by 2017, when I came back, and I went straight to my family home. Of course, I have a house, but I didn't go there. I went to my family home. But there are a lot of people who don't have that privilege. They have to go to guest houses and hotels because they invested everything into the struggle. And so I felt for some of these people. And I personally believed there should be a day to recognize their efforts. And of course, the efforts of those in this country. We should not just try to move along just like that. That doesn't mean we cannot reconcile. That doesn't mean we cannot unite. You see, the West celebrate days, not that they want to victimize anybody, but they want to recognize really what happened, how it happened, why it happened, and how it's solved.
And the roles people play.
Roles plays. Books are written, magazines, newspaper interview, everything. They do that, and this is what has taught the West. The West are not taught just in universities. It's TV studios like this.
Exactly,
In UK, question time every Monday, Tuesday.
Everybody listens.
Everybody from a political party, people watch. I learn more from that than anything else.
From British
So, and I would want the diaspora really for not to be seen as some kind of enemies. And laws in this country should not discriminate against the diaspora, whatever kind of law that is.
You know, there is a law that they cannot be, people holding, dual citizen cannot be ministers.
Absolutely, I know that. Cham put that in 2006
Yeah.
using his parliament, because then he's only saw the diaspora as his biggest threat. And
So why should the people who diaspora fought so gallantly to put into power still maintain that laws?
No, I think it will be changed. I have the firm belief that it will be changed, yes. However, I think it's all about misconception of each other. And you, the media, should do your best to sort of reunite us. I know there's some diaspora.
Also because the government is not comfortable with the diaspora, because normally they are the most vocal critics, because they're more sophisticated citizenry. They ask more questions. They are more probing and more critical.
No, I think it's just a misunderstanding. Because
It's
most of the
not
people
only
in
here,
cabinet, were studied in diaspora. Some have their wives in diaspora. Some have their kids born in the diaspora. You understand?
Yeah.
So the diaspora is not just some place where you just have enemies of a country.
No, it's
Kenya,
not only here.
Kenya, the diaspora.
Most African governments think that their diaspora is a problem.
No, but there's a mindset shift now. If you go to Kenya, Nigeria, Senegal, Mozambique, many places down there, they're seeing the diaspora actually as the synergy that we're lacking. Turkey became Turkey today is because of the diaspora. It's the Turkish diaspora who came with skills from Germany, Austria, Finland, building industries, factories, medicine, all these Turkish people, everybody go to Turkey for treatment, and India. Where do you think they get it from? It's the diasporas. You create a conducive environment. They come with the skills, the technical know-how and the knowledge, and they build the private sector. To the extent that the government focuses on only key areas, and the private sector take over. That's why Turkey now, everybody's going there, not to the government, but to the
private
sectors. So, and I think that conducive environment should be created. And of course, some diasporans, their opinions are a little bit very harsh, and their perception of the country, our mother Gambia, I think it's very wrong. Some will go around, let's sell this country, let's do this. This is where your grandfather is buried.
Expectations are too high. They compare us with UK.
No, you can't do that.
300 years of
no, you can't do that. I think they are taking up the Western mindset, how the West used to perceive Africa.
Yeah, but they are right in some things. Some basic things should be correct.
Of course.
They are right in that. Some basic things at least.
I
we
agree.
don't need to be 100, 300 years of civilization to put those in things.
No, I agree.
Okay,
I agree with that. Okay, moving forward, so I thank the president because he appointed me from councillor to be the deputy.
Well, you deserve it. You deserve it.
Yeah, well, yes, but I should appreciate that.
Many people commend you really for being
I should
political
appreciate
in your
work.
You deal with everybody.
Yes.
You know.
And I think I also have to thank my High Commissioner, Her Excellency Dr. Fatou Bensouda. She's a big personality, and I think when she arrived, you know, she came with a huge presence, and so it was my job to open up the communities to her, which I did. And she is a very versatile person, a very dignified human being. She doesn't look at, okay, I was a former chief prosecutor of the ICC. The way I interact with her and the other staff, you know, it's really pleasant. Sometimes I accompany her to events, and you know, people are queuing to take pictures with her.
She's a celebrity.
She's a celebrity, you know.
Yes,
so I have to really commend her, and the way she interact with us is very, very important, because of course there are some missions where we have some issues, but with her, you know, she sought advice, she sit with us, she give us her views, and she allow us to thrive in what we're good at. So obviously I appreciated that cordial working environment. And myself, because I was a diasporant, there are a lot of things that I feel the High Commission then was not doing with the Gambian communities. So I cannot come there and then become somebody different. I'm always reminded that, look, this is the consequence. 44% of our GDP is by the diaspora.
Absolutely.
They pay school fees, weddings, naming ceremonies, burials, marriage, hajj, food, everything.
School fees.
So without the diaspora, if that 44% is to stop today, people will come rushing in your studio here. So the diaspora really are a very important component of the Gambia. Therefore, the only thing we can do for them is to be conducive for them. And well before Her Excellency came, we started the process, and when she came, we continued. In my work, there are people who are very harsh critics of the government. They will have an issue, and people will say, call Suntou. They say, no, Suntou Barola Moleti, Suntou is for Barola.
You have been able to.
And they will say, no, in Suntou's work,
there's no
Barola. And they will call me and say, hey, Suntou, you know, I said, look, my brother, come in. You come, what's your problem? We sit, we resolve it. And if I'm not there, the same. Even when I'm here on leave, many calls are coming, I'm directing them. You know, we're involving. Because I believe as a Gambia, we are one people.
Absolutely.
We might have different ways of seeing things, but the core values.
It's only when we are in the Gambia that we feel we are different. When people outside see us as Gambians.
Same, yes. So the High Commission really has opened up. Every year we'll hold nearly 20 to 25 community engagements. We got invitations, we go. We got event, we invite. In fact, this year in February, we want to celebrate the 60th independence of the Gambia. And we want
to have your own in London.
In London,
yes. The government is preparing a big one.
That's right. So we want to do a semi-big one, because our budget levels are different. But we are working with some other prominent Gambians to make sure it happens. Because in UK now we have Gambians serving in the British Army. They have their group, a lot of expertise there. Gambians serving in the NHS sector, they have their group. So we work with different professionals. So we want to bring them together to talk about issues facing us as a collective. We're having a lot of marriage breakdowns. We're having a lot of kids taken into custody.
That's what I'm trying. The social.
So we're having a lot of issues, integration issues, and understanding what is the laws here and what is the laws.
What do you do with that happen when there are problem integration? Like somebody bunkas will go with their child and say, "Hey, baby, and then the social come and take the child." How do you?
Because you know, the UK social service, they are very powerful, and they kind of have a law unto themselves. So directly we cannot involve. But what we do is we find the caseworker. So we try to interact with the caseworker. So sometimes the matters will go to court, So the court will write to us.
Why don't you do orientation? Like
we do that. In fact, we have a WhatsApp
group. It cannot
group.
be like a university, but at least university or school, but at least every newcomer had somebody.
No, we have a WhatsApp group where we have most of the community leaders there. So whatever we advise, they share it into their groups. You know, but there are some Gambians, sadly, they work solo. If they go to Europe, some don't even check their passports anymore. Some their passport will expire. They will even go to the airport, try to check in. They say, your passport expired 6 months ago.
There has to be.
So we have a lot of problems. Some people, they're single-minded. They eat their domoda or their benachin, work, come home. That's it. So, and they don't tend to understand what are the frictions going on. And kids, young people in Europe, as you know, they are very valuable.
Absolutely.
You cannot hit your child.
Yeah,
you cannot do anything.
Difference in culture.
And some of the parents don't understand that.
Yes.
We, not just in the UK, but we have this problem in Sweden, lots of it.
In Europe.
We have this problem in Germany, in Spain,
America,
France,
in Europe. You are in Europe anyway.
Yeah. So these are issues, Brother Lamin, where sometimes, in fact, I intend to even call you guys to say, can you please help us to sensitize our people? Because a lot of them don't value this until when they get into those problems. Last year alone, we have 35 families. Some 4 kids, they will take all of them.
Oh, the social will take all of them.
All of them. Some mothers will nearly run mad.
Yes.
You understand? So there are some little complicated issues, you know, and sometimes the miscommunication. In Mandinka, lipa.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
So and this child mean, oh, if he hits me, he go to school and he said to the teacher,
my
mother wanted to hit me.
You see?
They called the mother and the miscommunication. They said, okay, as a temporal measure, we'll take in your 4 kids. All right. And then they start interviewing these kids.
You think eventually you might advise people to leave very young kids here, you know, to be brought up, you know, here until at least they get to a certain age? That would be difficult to separate parent and child, but then, you know, it's sometimes maybe advisable, you know, because of the difference in cultures.
I think it's about the parents themselves understanding how to bring up young people. And a lot of people are not trained for that. You know, in the past, in Kiang, in Jara, in Banjul, Serakunda, you know, young women around their mothers learn these things.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now most of the young women are busy. I'm not saying all.
Yeah, I know.
With wig to wear, what makeups to do, what, you know, condition. Is it the condition they call it?
Yes, yes.
Foundation
but at least they don't do abominable things. Things that will be seen here as an abomination.
No, what I'm saying is people from here that are migrating. Understand?
Right,
It's people here going. So if you are going and you're not equipped, what is motherhood? It's stressful. Breastfeeding alone is painful. Most of us as men don't know that. It's painful. So, and there are a lot of stresses combined, and these women have to go to work. They have to cook. So when the stress combine, a child do something silly, before you know, the instinct is to just react. And this is also what is affecting marital union. Most of the men also don't know how to live with women.
Oh, they would
it's like you brought up, like most of the young men, I call mostly Yaya Jame generation boys.
Yes.
Most of, not all,
Yeah.
but a large number think, you know, well, you know.
What is it? They will come home, not you understand? They start.
Yeah, they're not the consideration for others is very minimal, and I
But
think
is it not also that a woman go there and start, you know?
they change too, because
they
change too, of course, because when you go there, there's a lot of liberty that is given to you.
Yes.
And that's the friction. That's what I'm saying. But you as a man should understand. Okay, there's a change going on. How do I adjust it? How do we talk? So that lack of communication is a problem. I remember one incident last year when a woman with 2 daughters came to our embassy, and he said, I want you guys to find me a place to live. And they called me down, I interviewed her, and I only understand somebody misled her. She came to settle with the husband, and just within 3 months, somebody told her, you know what, if you leave this man, they will give you a house, they will give you this, they will give you that. But she has not even gone through her first 6 months for the husband to help her get 2 years, after 2 years, then get 5 years, after 5 years, then get settlement. She has not even gone through all of that yet. 3 months, she was misled. And she left the husband. The husband went to work, went to live with a friend. The friend said, oh, come and live with me, I will take you to the council. Took her to the council. The council said, but she's not entitled. She has not even finished this. And one week, the husband of that woman said she has to leave.
You see?
She didn't know where to go, so she was sleeping in hostels.
My God.
For a week with the 2 young daughters. They were not even having a shower or bath.
So you had to go to the husband.
So now they came to us. This woman couldn't shower for a week.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine. So, and then when I started talking to her, and I said, who told you these things? She said, oh, one of my friends.
Oh, man.
And I had to call the husband, prevail, and she was refusing to go to the husband. I said, you say, no, you have nowhere else to go. We can only pay for you 1 week.
Yeah.
That's it, out of our budget. So luckily I spoke to the family and we took her to the husband, resolved the matter, and everything went smoothly. So sometimes it's the communication and misinformation and a lot of things, and these are rampant and many. And we are also encountering a lot of mental health issues.
Oh, yeah?
Of some of
Gambians
our
getting mad.
Yes, depression. Because one thing is good here in the Gambia, Lamin. You can walk to any of your friends' house.
Exactly.
You can just go,
You can stand on the
family
veranda.
home. You can, So sometimes people misunderstand these interactions. So we are having a lot of people going through that.
There are people who can't live alone.
Yes.
It's not good for their physical and
mental health.
And over there, most of the time you are alone.
Yes.
Especially if you don't have a family.
Family. You don't have a
You
network.
don't have anybody around you.
So we have a lot of those problems.
Yeah.
And then we are trying to work with the health association to deal with these situations. And we have a very vibrant communities in Birmingham. One guy, Ansubana Baru, and his team, they are very good.
Okay.
We tend to take people to psychiatric places to stabilize them. Not long ago, we encountered a young man who crossed from France through the Channel.
Yeah.
And he went mad and he was sleeping rough. So we went to pick him up with our embassy vehicle, arranged to get him to Birmingham, and we took him. They helped us take him to a psychiatric unit. Now he's fine. He studied Quran in Mauritania, but when he was mad, if you tell him pray, all kind of insult will come. But now
it's gone back.
It's gone back to normal. So we are encountering that, and I want families at home to understand the pressure they can exert on their young
Children
people
to go to people.
They want this, they want this. Sometimes they're not understanding that that person is going through a lot of personal stress. So I want families here. I don't know how you people can help us. Send these messages. I know they're not fashionable messages.
You people are lucky that you are not at the front line of the migration by boat, the back way.
Yeah.
But those who are in Italy and Spain, I'm sure your colleagues have got to go through a lot more problems.
Lot more problem, yes. In fact, even us, people are crossing from France.
Oh, from France, yes. That's
they're coming through the channel. So we're having the backlog. But in UK, it's kind of a lot of people in limbo as well. They've been there for many years, no document. It's kind of hide and seek. So sometimes that had a toll on them. So we're having, and substance use as well. So
how about complaints from UK authorities to you about Gambian affairs? Most of the areas, if there are any, that they have problems.
We don't have many because Gambians are well behaved.
Not specific to Gambia, but maybe conduct of migrants.
No, for Gambia primarily, I think it's just certain key prominent individuals who are into moving narcotics or into some of those things. Some of these people end up becoming gang leaders.
I see.
I remember a few years ago we were dealing with one, and the UK threatened to cut off relations with the Gambia just for one person.
For one person.
You can imagine. I think it's a Cham man. I don't know.
No, it cannot be Cham Kunda. It must be from Touray.
And this guy, he was in the north of England. He was so notorious that the UK was saying if Gambia is not wanting to deal with the situation, they will be cut off
relations.
So you can imagine. I think people sometimes want government to talk everything at the top. No, you can't do that. I think it's for the benefit of the people sometimes that things are done private. So we handle a lot of these things quietly.
Governments naturally will have to work behind
quietly,
the scenes,
and government cannot say everything.
No.
Government cannot respond to everything. They should respond to major things, but not not everything. So we handle a lot of sensitive issues, and of course diplomatically too. We have one of the best relationships with the UK right now. How about
promoting Gambian tourism in England? Because when I was there, I said, wow. When I read newspapers and they're selling packages to Kenya and to India, I see myself. I've been involved in a classwork like that.
they said something on tourism. I mentioned the Gambian experience. But then I saw that people in the UK will pay 600, 700 pounds to go to India, 10 hours flight.
Yes.
1 million or so of them. Or another 1 million will go to Mombasa, 10 hours flight from London, Heathrow, Gatwick. You know, a lot more expensive, 600, 700 pounds. They now see a package to Banjul for 300, 400 pounds, which is only 6 hours.
Yeah.
But then it would not be 1 million people.
Yeah.
So I would say, wow, what is the problem? Our people don't promote Gambia. It is shorter by air, cheaper than Mombasa in Kenya or Goa in India.
I think the problem is basically promoting your country is expensive. And I don't think sometimes those who are budgeting for promotion understands how expensive it is. For example, Rwanda, for instance. Rwanda bought a seat, executive seat at Arsenal Football Club.
Yes, that's true.
So that is very expensive.
Oh, that's a huge.
But everybody, every match sees Rwanda, visit Rwanda.
Yeah.
Israel,
That's
okay, Israel pays a huge to promote Israel, visit Israel and holy site, blah, 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 to go. How much is Gambia spending on promoting Gambia, you understand? So we have a director of tourism there in our embassy, Adam Njai. He's very experienced. He's been there for tourism for years. But I think the traditional travel market is not enough. As you said, it needs to be vigorous. It needs to be a lot. So government has to capture that, because tourism, the diaspora, agriculture, can take this country forward. We use our ports adequately. We make things faster, a bit more efficient. You know, we make tourism viable. Even villages in Kiang and other places can have their own little mini tourism, eco places,
eco lodges.
Because you know, white people now or Westerners are more interested now in tradition. They're running back to tradition, and they're going to countries like in Kenya and other places that are offering hot houses, you know, cooking local food, primitive ways. And so we have abundant of that in Badibus, in Jokadu, in Kiangs, and
the Kabadas.
So we can do that, but our tourism sector budget has to be elevated to such an extent. They use experts to make sure it takes 5 years, but after that, a lot of youth unemployment will go. Because when the season is good, do you hear crime?
Now,
all the youths are in the seaside.
Like at this period, when I drive out here, you know, you meet people from everywhere. December, January.
So I think because there is a miscommunication, a lot of people think government should create jobs. And sometimes even the media emphasize government should create jobs. Government don't create jobs.
They should lead in formulating policies that will create environment for jobs.
That's it. I agree with you. But a lot of people think naturally government should go and build a bakery and come and say, I'm appointing. No.
It's very clear. When the government pave the road here, you see people building there. So you know, government should lead in inspiring and opening the way. And the people
enabling environment, creating the enabling environment for people to come and invest. And I also think they should also try to empower diasporans and to protect certain sectors for Gambians. You know, some of us come on a visit, and
especially land.
Yes, and we see a lot of. I have nothing against non-Gambians, but I think they are going into areas that even a lady from Sukuta or Brufut can come and do, and then you're seeing competing with foreigners. I think in the long run, what that creates is tension between those communities. This is what happened in Angola. It happened in Zaire. It happens in other countries. So we need to learn from those. And protect,
not protectionism as a way, but at least to prioritize.
That's right. No, prioritize. If somebody come and wants to invest in, let's say, frying chicken, he said no. Can you 10 of you join together from a particular country, build a factory? Let's actually make chicken feed. Our women will fry the chicken, or our young people will fry the chicken on the streets.
I see.
So naturally, they're going into a more area where they can use their brain and connections. But if they are now competing with a lady in Sukuta frying chicken, then in the long run, the woman is going to say, who do you think you are? You are frying chicken in my street. Before you know, clashes happen. This is what happened in Angola 5 years ago. A lot of exodus happened for foreigners.
Yes, that's right.
Because people were coming attacking shops. attacking properties, and people have to just sell quickly and get out. So, and I think Gambia is very conducive for business. But what sort of business are we allowing others to venture in? These are very, very important, you know.
Governments.
Yes, yes.
Well, I saw pictures of you, Facebook, you people, you former, current ambassador, diplomats meeting the president, and you described the meeting to be very successful. I'm sure these are some of the ideas you discussed, I can assume.
Yeah, with the president, because he's our friend, he's our brother, and he's he's somebody very easy to talk to. He's a good listener. So we talk about, yes, a lot of things, and among them is unity. Politics, yes, is important. We have our different political ideologies and parties, but what's important is to see each other first as brothers and sisters. And that Gambia is very small. There are some people in UDP whose aunties are in MPP, whose uncles are in GDC or they are in DOI. So we are one family. And for us, I think the president's personality is such that he's not an aggressive person. If we compare him, I know some people miss Jammeh so much, they are saying that we want Jammeh back. But I'm sure when Jammeh land at the airport, they will run beyond Kian Sankandi.
No, they'll go to Baribu and
you know, so and I think we emphasize that. And we also emphasize tolerance within his party, within the MPP. And personally, I also emphasize tolerance within the UDP and other parties. But the more parties grow, the more clashes will happen. Because people are coming from different backgrounds. People are coming from different experience and expectations. So they will say, Lamin is trying to take my job. No, Suntou is trying to take that person's job. So you see, they're trying to fight. And usually it's the elites that start the fire. They go and sit back. So I'm a local person. I classify myself as a local person from the rural area. So I have a lot of soft spot for local people. You know, and when I come here in politics, I interact with a lot of local people, and I listen a lot to them, whether they are from UDP or MPP or others, and their grievances are, those at the top don't seem to care about us. That may not be the case, but those people...
That's the common
grievances. So, and because once you are at the top, it's a bit difficult to feel those at the bottom. And I think that is President Barrow's strength during when he was emerging. He was from the grassroots, so he understands their feeling and their this thing. So he had that good interaction. Of course, now as the presidency, not everybody can just go turn up at State House.
There you go. People want to see him, they cannot see him.
And then he also wants to see people, they cannot see him.
He cannot.
Because as a friend
but he has that if he wants to see anybody, will see him. That one is clear.
No, but sometimes the way he will want
to see.
Maybe
he will not even see how he wants to interact, he cannot do that.
He cannot, no.
That's true.
He cannot.
You know, that's the problem with leadership. You know, once there is an election, the people who lost the election, they have only 2 or 3 weeks of depression. But you who won the election, you have 5 years of depression. Because you have to deal with everybody. You know issues that people don't know, and you hear them talking about it, you cannot interject, you cannot respond. So
even people like myself who are not directly involved in politics, some people will come and say, Exactly,
yes, that's right.
And I said, sometimes you want to come out and talk, and I say, no, you cannot. Because what they don't understand, I will be a little bit historical. I don't know whether we have time.
We have very little time now, but we can wrap it here.
But you see, even in the medieval period, see, leaders used to know a lot. And in Mama Janke Wali, they used to say Tambadibi. I don't know whether you know what Tambadibi.
I heard about it.
Okay. Tambadibi used to be an idol, a shrine. And the owners of the shrine are the information gatherers. Now you have the intelligence and everything. But in those days, they rely on the shrine. Because people go to the shrine and say, you know, Lamin Cham of Standard News, Malunga Munekala, you know, is giving me a lot of trouble. And now what do happen? The shrine master knows now Lamin and this guy has a problem. So they document it. And the Janke Wali will ask the shrine master, what is going on?
He said, Lamin and Suntou has
problem. This guy and this guy has a problem. This guy, just intelligence. So Janke Wali knows everything about everybody, you know. But one thing he was good at, he knows how to connect with the local people. And I think that is very, very important in politics and in our everyday lives.
Good. Suntou Touray, thank you very much for being on the Brunch. He's the
Deputy High Commissioner, the Gambia High Commission in London, and a key figure in the struggle against tyranny in the country, for which he is known, and very much commended generally by people in the United Kingdom, our people, for his approach, professional approach to his work. I want to commend you personally.
Thank you.
For coming to sharing your experience with our viewers on the brunch. The brunch will be back next week. Until then, goodbye for now.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Planning to have an uninterrupted electricity and water supply from solar energy in the Gambia and beyond? Worry no more, because Solar Enterprise will provide you with the solutions at reasonable cost. We have experienced personnel who can install and advise you about your electricity and water supply with a warranty period. We have good quality solar products from North America and Europe. We provide services and sell products to individuals, organizations, institutions, private offices, communities, and government. These products are solar panels, batteries, charge controllers, inverters, water pump, water heaters, freezers, submersible pumps, and general solar accessories. Visit our stores at 48 Karaba Avenue and Brusubi Highway, or you can call us on 7657 479 980-8483, 340-9400 or 635-9906.
Jamano Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamano, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamano Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Brusubi opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited, or email us at info@jamanomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051 or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamano Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamano Money Transfer.
agada
ke mbijan raga nyaade
albaka
mbaka important
yo nga transfer la sto
ya transfer la
ha code nyenje
okay nsila id soto
sa so sorry agada
mbijan bro
albaka
mbaka
bara alla service o tariya
mbare
ki janna nun kunu bara tariya
jannom yona forest de bureau Gambia tonkon nano mbari ya bere birin koyna fo kato
bari si kodo kino kato nim fo bolon labe
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam
ha
Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol nko kodo kiya bere kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi topoto nin kodi maraw jannom number 1 di nyonta andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi ma ni domorol ni fana be teata Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je
wo moyo diat
apelenta
baraka ni na lafta nyelen kendol e bina
yalo bu kanina ko la baraka ba
yalo ndel ciosano lo
baraka